Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about the more affordable and like mid-range spectrum of handbags after years and years and years in the pre-loved luxury designer arena. And there have been a number of contributing factors to the resurgence of brands like Coach and like Kate Spade. They just had their collab with Target, etc. And some of those factors being the crazy price increases from a lot of the designer brands that people like you and I used to shop, even if it was pre-loved, as well as the decline in quality and the overall question mark I think we all have about the economy and our futures. So it definitely makes sense, more so than it probably did back when I was in the heyday of my shopping, to explore other options in the handbag realm. Options that weren't going to cost multiple thousands of dollars. Before we get started, hi, I'm Catherine. This channel is called KW Shops. To acknowledge the fact that I've been here on YouTube for close to a decade talking about my experience of working in the designer handbag industry. This is a place where I gave tips and insights and thoughts and perspectives that I thought consumers would benefit from knowing, because I had a shopping addiction, and this was my main enablement mechanism to like keep the spending and keep the shopping happening. So we're kind of dealing with a lot here. Really aiming to tackle like my relationship with consumerism, my relationship to fashion and the luxury resale market more broadly, and that's what we're doing here. So it's called KW Shops because I don't know why at this point. I guess I can't think of another name. But if any of that's interesting to you, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts about the more affordable mid-tier range of the handbag market. So I kind of have an idea of what many of you who clicked on this video may have, come here expecting to see. You're probably hoping that I share with you some, my selections of amazing mid-tier brands that have great quality at a great price point. And I get it. I did this for a very long time. My channel has been just listicles of like what to buy, what I'm buying. And I think you may be able to pick up from where this is going that that's not what this video is going to be. Yeah, instead of giving you guys instruction on what to buy, I want to have an honest conversation about like my relationship to consumerism, and when given the option to switch from the higher tier, even pre-loved designer handbags to the mid-tier, it made me seriously contemplate what exactly I was getting out of fashion, and ultimately I decided that I don't need any more handbags. Some of these thoughts, some of these ideas are kind of murky and like not consistent, and that's just kind of what and how it is right now, so please bear with me. What I do want to give brands like Coach credit for is that the quality today is much better than what I remember it being, before. And considering that the newer designer stuff has degraded so severely in quality, and Coach has stepped up its game, yeah, they are kind of on like the same or similar playing field when it comes to like what am I getting for the amount of money that I'm spending. So I totally see that. And no, yeah. So if you are a consumer out there and you're tasked with the choice of like, I don't know, a Louis Vuitton bag for like $2,000 or $3,000 versus a Coach bag for like $500 or $600, like I think the answer is obvious. So for any of you who are still shopping, yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And living in Miami for over 10 years, I have noticed a shift in what people carry. What I used to see people carrying were Louis Vuitton bags, were Chanel bags, were Gucci, were, Louis Vuitton. Did I say Louis Vuitton already? Whatever. Now, when I walk around, I'm seeing a lot more Tory Burch, a lot of Coach. I'm even seeing like, now, elephant in the room, I've been a broken record about this, is that the main reason for me to not have a desire to purchase the current selections of bags that are designed in the styles that are popular now is because I haven't liked popular and current styles for close to 8 years. So before I say anything else, before I say anything stupid, before I say anything that makes me sound like a snob or an elitist, that has to be the number one reason. I don't like the styles of today. Styles of today are like, the baguettes, the hobos, the fanny packs, I don't know, like, I'll try to find a collage of like what's in now, and it doesn't resonate with me. And if you would have seen one of my previous videos, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I bought in order to keep shopping in spite of the fact that I didn't like them. And what I realized in the last year or so, like the last 6 months to a year, is that I cannot continue that behavior. I can't buy stuff that I don't like. Now, there are like a couple, there's one like Tory Burch bag in particular that I like. And yeah, you can find a handful, you can probably find a handful of handbags that maybe resonate with my style a little bit. But what I realize about those bags is that they're already represented in my collection. Like that one Tory Burch bag that I like the look of, I have that in a vintage Celine bag. So there's no need for me to continue to repopulate my wardrobe and my collection with bags that I already have represented in it. This exercise, this thought process, this like, you know, like this rug pull, so to speak, from the designer brands made me realize that no. The answer is not to find less expensive bags to buy. The answer is to question if I need to be shopping in the first place. That's kind of the question I want you guys to consider independently. I obviously am doing a no buy this year with the main rule being no clothes and no fashion for any reason all of 2025. But I do think that it is something for you to consider. I mean, unless you're truly trying to replace or like, you know, address a need in your wardrobe, which I'm not at the moment. What I realize is that this is just premised on what should we buy next. The idea to just buy Coach is kind of similar to, you know, the idea from a couple of years ago that, you know, with Chanel's price increases that you should just buy Hermes. Not necessarily. In that, I believe it was like a get ready with me video, what I said was, so we have now gotten to the point where Chanel bags cost the same as Hermes, Birkins and Kellys, etc. in certain sizes if you buy them from the boutique at retail. And so a lot of people's feeling and thought is, well, at this price, I might as well buy Hermes. And I'm here to say, not necessarily. I'm kind of, you know, not everyone, and I think it's okay, is gonna be willing to play that game. And most importantly, not everyone likes Hermes. Personally, I don't like it. I'm saying it out loud. The style of Hermes does very little for me. I don't like it. And it's okay to not like it. Like, you can appreciate luxury, you can like handbags without feeling compelled to covet after brands that don't necessarily fit your tastes. I don't know, I just wish that we could go back to a place in a time where fashion and the luxury game was a lot more unique. And that's why to a certain extent, like, I've kind of gotten away from how much I'm still enjoying this. You should buy the things that you like that suit your needs. And it's not a given, just like it's not a given that just because you like Chanel and are no longer in a position or desire to purchase it at the prices that they want to charge for it, doesn't mean that you should just migrate over to Hermes. And the same is true about Coach and some of the mid-tier brands. Like, don't just buy stuff because that's the price you would pay. Like, I mean, actually, what I'm trying to do is think critically about what serves my needs and what serves my tastes. And I don't need another bag. I actually finally have the Coach website pulled up and none of these styles speak to me, and that's fine. Totally fine. I have not knocked anything, I hope, in this video. Yeah, I just am in a period where I'm addressing my needs and addressing my taste and addressing my style. And the answer for me is that I don't need another bag right now or for the foreseeable future. Be it $400, $4,000, or for free. So to say that designer prices are too high, I'm just gonna buy Coach, creates the foregone conclusion that you need another bag in your wardrobe. Do you need a new bag? The answer is no. Do you like any of the bags? The answer is no. And if the only thing that I have is that it's a friendlier price point, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. And that's how I got to where I ended up towards the end. And so I do have a confession to make. In doing my grand introspection, I realized that a lot of the shopping that I was doing was not necessarily just about the bag itself. The largest aspect that I don't think I've really gotten into yet in depth here is the thrill of the hunt. It was the deal seeking, it was the gamification, it was the trophy hunter aspect of being able to find these bags for the most part on the pre-loved market. The idea of the thing that I want just being readily available over at the mall, like, does not quite stir the same, like, I don't even know what to call it, like, feverish emotion as finding buried treasure on a place like The Real Real or Fashion File or eBay or at the thrift store. No, like, sweat equity. I'm not invested in the item in quite the same way as when as if I would have been on the crazy hunt for it. Before I got into luxury, and a lot of the time when I, you know, did shop mall brands and stuff for shoes, that's something I kind of never stopped doing, if we're being real. The thrill seeking spot was the price. So I would try to get it at like the lowest best sale deal price that I could possibly find. And like that was the achievement. And just more and more, just as time has gone by, like what you notice is that the sales and deals are fewer and further in between. So what instead I began to do was just find cool things that were, in my opinion, like underrated in like resale value that really spoke to me. And there wasn't a place for that necessarily in buying like the next new the new hot Coach bag, or like or the Tory Burch sandals, for example. I liked buying pre-loved because I could spend probably close to the same amount of money and get something that was, you know, excellent luxury level quality for the time. Again, a lot has happened in this particular arena, so I felt like shopping designer on the resale market, I was getting a better bang for my buck, which, remember, was my entire reason for being here. I would say 90% of my bag buying career, I was spending probably similar or literally the same price points as a lot of the mid-range brands that we're going to be talking about today. It's hard to average it out entirely, but a normal price for me to spend on a bag would be anywhere from like $500 to like under $1,000. Once it got to more than that, that was much more rare. I think I've only done that maybe like a handful of times, but most of the vintage bags, most of the like really cool, unique, random like Fendi, Givenchy, etc., those bags tended to be around the same price. Even some of my vintage Louis Vuitton tended to be around the same price that you would get like a new affordable mid-range bag at retail. And I want to be very, very clear about that because there is no difference in like price status for me. Yeah, I guess it became more of a game. It became more of an achievement that I was able to take the same money people were spending on one thing and get something that was, you know, in the past more expensive. But yeah, like that was much cooler to me than just like going to the mall and spending $400. It was much more fun for me to like sit on eBay until 4 in the morning and spend my $400 there. Okay, now I'm gonna put on my insufferable hipster hat for like a second. What I've pondered seriously in like the bags and the items in my wardrobe and the things that I'm drawn to and like what is my personal style, one thing that I do like a lot, that does draw me a lot, is something that I find super cringy, and that is exclusivity. Now, there's the way that people like to weaponize exclusivity. There's a way people like to bastardize this concept and, you know, turn their nose up to anything that's less expensive. At its core, for something to be exclusive, it has to be scarce. One thing I'm kind of getting away from, and I think I've talked about this a little bit, is the idea that is the central like point of value for something being its price point. And the way this relates to exclusivity for me is that exclusivity relies on scarcity. There is a physical component of scarcity. There is nothing scarce about a Louis Vuitton never full. There is nothing scarce about a Chanel medium flap. There is nothing scarce about an Hermes Birkin. They are all over the place. You're not going to say that something is scarce because other people can't afford to buy it. Like, what that means to me is that, oh, that means rich people can buy it. And as a person who does not aspire towards or valorize and pedestalize people who already have wealth, that is not something I value. When I was participating in fashion in this way, I like things that were rare because there weren't many of them made. They were unique. They weren't just floating out there with a high price tag that anybody with 20 grand could have. Like, that doesn't impress me. Hopefully by now you will have seen my bag collection, and if you haven't, then it's coming up. But the bags in my wardrobe, especially the ones that I kept, were items that if maybe I come to my senses after this year is over, like, I'm not going to be able to replace them because they're so unique, they're so singular, they're so like just different and special. And so scarcity that's just predicated on the price point just makes it so that only rich people can buy it. And that's not scarcity, that's just exclusion. I don't know exactly how to phrase this part, but I worked in the resale industry, obviously. And for those of you who are new, I worked in the luxury resale industry for 10 years. And this, what I'm about to say, kind of goes against a lot of my ethos on this topic, because I was never of the mind, never of the opinion that the bags that we buy as consumers should be looked to as financial vehicles. They're not reliable financial investments was one of my catchphrases for a very long time. It would be dishonest of me to not add that as one of many factors to consider. However, I am of the opinion, I am of the former professional opinion, that less expensive bags have the potential to cost more in the long run because of resale value. Let me explain. Now, of course, you should buy things because they suit your style and suit your preferences and suit your tastes and suit your lifestyle and your needs, not because they're investments. Make no mistake. Spending, I don't know, $300 or $400 on something with little to no resale value, in my opinion, is more expensive than spending $500 on something that originally retailed at maybe $1,200 and has a resale value of $300 potentially. No, I'm going against so much of what I have said in the past. It is more of a commitment. It is definitely more of a commitment in like your purchase, because you don't necessarily know, and this is true of buying any super trendy bag. The fact that so many people are going out and buying like the Coach Tabby, for instance, in 3 to 5 years, there's going to be people who are trying to resell that bag, and because there are so many of them out there on the market, the price for them is I don't anticipate is going to be very high, and that just means that it's just going to be potentially sitting in your closet or ending up on consignment store shelves, and to me, it's more of a price commitment. Buying things that are, yeah, more of a price commitment than perhaps people were anticipating. The higher price points on the designer bags, I think, actually did something to keep me in check when it came to my extreme and ridiculous shopping habits. Part of being surrounded by bags that were so much more expensive that I could not afford, and in many instances didn't even like, it normalized the idea of a higher price point, and it made my little $700 Givenchy pre-love tote seem inexpensive in comparison, right? And even though I was buying probably more bags than the average person would in a year, it was maybe only happening like anywhere from 2 to 5 times. I encountered people purging their closets every day of my life for 10 years, so I could kind of see what overfull closets or overfull wardrobes look like, and I guess somehow I knew enough to know that I had to impose a limit somewhere, and I don't think I would have been able to do that if everything I loved was only $300. Trust me, I can hear what I know. I would go on places like The Real and try to find the same shoe in multiple colors. I would do stuff like that. And I really think that there would have been nothing stopping me from going to, you know, the Coach outlet and getting a card holder in like 5 different colors or something, or like a card holder or something in 5 different colors, because it was a price point that I could afford. So in a way, I'm grateful that the designer shopping that I did, or the more expensive shopping that I did, was like, had somewhat of a barrier, because I really worry that I had the potential to, I mean, I hate to say overdo it because I definitely overdid it, but for it to get out of hand, which it did. I could have made the video that some people might have wanted, and I could have filled it with affiliate links to Coach.com, to Neiman Marcus, to Nordstrom or whatever, and I might have made some money in the process, but I don't think it's a given that there is another new bag on the horizon at all times. I think some of the things that I used to do, like running an active wish list for no reason, let's be clear, I want to get off of doing stuff like that. I don't want, in looking at this, the collection of Coach bags, like, yeah, I don't like any of these. Nothing against Coach, but yeah, this just isn't my style. It's not my style. And even if I were to find something that was, like, I probably already have it. Plenty of people on the internet telling you the next thing to buy. And I guess what I want to leave this with is you don't need to be constantly shopping. You don't have to buy something every week, every month, every year. Certainly not every day. You don't need to be influenced to purchase a bag. Certainly not for me anymore. I feel like I've done enough of that. I am doing kind of like a mental experiment. I bought one bag from Target at the end of last year, and then one tote bag from Mango that I wear to work now. because surprise, surprise, I don't think wearing designer to work serves me. We'll chat about that later. Yeah, I think that for me and for what I like, the mid-range affordable tier of bags doesn't necessarily have what I need in this time. Maybe one day that will change. And I hope that I gave you guys something to think about, something to chew on for this video. It's not a given that you need a new bag in your wardrobe. Don't take it for granted that there's something else that you have to buy. That's only true if your hobby is shopping. So with that, I guess I'm gonna leave it here. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if there's any thoughts that you have percolating in your mind that maybe we can, I don't know, feed off of each other. If you're doing a no-buy, if you're reconsidering your shopping habits for the future, then sound off in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video, give it a thumbs up. And with that, I will leave you with no clothes for any reason, 2025, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!